What if I told you that the most common exercise Western doctors recommend for poor leg circulation after 60 might actually be slowing down your recovery? Yes, even if you're doing it faithfully every single day. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, there's a country with almost 100,000 people over the age of 100. Not thousands, not tens of thousands. Nearly 100,000 centenarians walking, gardening, and living independently well past their 100th birthday. That country is Japan. In September 2025, Japan's Ministry of Health confirmed a record-breaking 99,763 centenarians. That's the 55th consecutive year this number has grown. And here's what most people don't realize. 88% of them are women, and the vast majority remain active and mobile well into their 90s. So what do the Japanese know about keeping their legs healthy that the rest of the world is missing? Poor circulation isn't just cold feet or swelling. It's a silent signal that your cardiovascular system is under pressure. According to global health data, peripheral artery disease affects over 200 million adults worldwide, and the prevalence climbs above 20% in people over 80. Most don't know they have it until symptoms become serious, and if ignored, it can lead to slow wound healing, infections, dangerous falls, and in the worst cases, amputation. But here's the fascinating part. After studying the longest-lived populations on Earth, researchers discovered something remarkable. The secret isn't just more movement. It's a specific type of muscle activation that the Japanese have practiced for nearly a century. A type of movement that triggers your body's built-in circulation system, something many people in the West have never even heard of. You've been doing what Western medicine told you. Walk more, rest your legs, maybe wear compression socks, but your feet still feel cold. The swelling is still there. You're still unsure on stairs. This video isn't here to scare you. It's here to empower you with wisdom from the world's longest living people. Because there's one area of your body, the Japanese call it your second heart, that controls far more than Western medicine has acknowledged. And when it's activated correctly, using techniques refined over generations in Japan, the difference can be life-changing. Before we begin, leave a comment and let us know. How old are you? Where are you watching from? And have you ever tried Japanese-style exercises before? We read every comment and we're building this channel for you, not for algorithms. Ready to discover what Japan's centenarians have known for generations? Let's begin. You've probably heard this advice more times than you can count. Just walk more. It's the safest, easiest way to improve your circulation. And on the surface, it sounds completely reasonable. Walking is natural. It's low impact. It's been the default advice from doctors for generations. But here's what nobody tells you. Walking alone doesn't fully activate the muscle system your legs depend on to pump blood back up to your heart. Why not? Because walking, especially the way most older adults in Western countries do it, is often too gentle, too short-strided, and too momentum-based to trigger the deep muscle contractions that drive what scientists call venous return. Research published in vascular medicine journals has shown that older adults who relied only on casual walking for leg circulation showed minimal improvement in venous return unless their pace was significantly faster than what most seniors can safely maintain. This creates a frustrating paradox. The people who need better circulation the most are often unable to walk fast enough to get it. But in Japan, they solved this problem generations ago. Instead of relying solely on walking speed, Japanese health practitioners developed targeted muscle activation exercises. Physical therapists call this approach calf pump training. These exercises directly engage the muscles that squeeze blood vessels and push blood upward, creating the circulation benefits of vigorous walking without the joint stress or fall risk. Studies on similar exercises have shown marked improvements in swelling, temperature regulation, and walking confidence, even without covering long distances on foot. So if you've been walking regularly and still feel cold toes, swollen ankles, heavy aching legs, or worse, balance issues, it's not your fault. It's not a failure. It's a missing piece in the routine, a piece the Japanese have understood for nearly 100 years. Now it's time to fill in that gap with 5 simple movements from Japan. These aren't trendy social media tricks or complicated workout routines. They're movements practiced daily by millions of Japanese people, from school children to office workers to centenarians in nursing homes. They're part of a system called Radio Taiso, a national exercise program that 97% of Japanese people recognize and millions still practice every single day. And most importantly, they're designed specifically to work with your biology after 60, not against it. Today, we're counting down the top 5 Japanese-inspired movements that activate your second heart and help restore healthy blood flow from your feet back to your heart. These techniques have been refined through decades of practice in the world's most long-lived nation. And trust me, exercise number 1 will completely change how you think about movement after 60. Shall we begin? In Japanese, they call it ashikubi pump, the ankle pump. And I know what you're thinking. This seems too simple to matter. Let's be honest. Ankle pumps look almost silly. You just sit and move your feet up and down. That's it. Most Westerners see this exercise in a hospital or rehabilitation center and assume it's only for people recovering from surgery. But here's what the Japanese have known for generations. This movement isn't just rehabilitation. It's fundamental biology, and it could be the single thing missing from your routine if you've been walking but still struggling with circulation. Inside your lower legs, your calf muscles act like a pressure pump. Every time they contract, even just slightly, they squeeze the deep veins running through your legs and push blood upward toward your heart. This is why Japanese doctors refer to the calf muscles as your daini no shinzo, your second heart. But here's the problem most people face. If you sit for long periods or only do low-effort walking, this pump weakens. Blood starts pooling in your ankles and feet. Swelling increases, oxygen delivery drops, and your legs start to feel heavy, tired, and unreliable. Research on seated ankle pump exercises has demonstrated that performing them just 3 times per day can significantly reduce lower leg swelling in adults over 65, even without any standing or walking involved. Participants in these studies reported less tightness in their calves, warmer feet, and notable improvement in nighttime leg discomfort, all without medication or machines. In Japan, elderly people practice this movement while watching television, drinking tea, or chatting with friends. It's so embedded in their culture that they don't even think of it as exercise. It's simply part of staying healthy. If this muscle stays asleep, blood sits stagnant in the feet. That means swelling builds. Wounds take longer to heal, and the risk of balance issues and falls increases over time. This is often the first domino in a cascade of decline. Not because you're not trying hard enough, but because your circulation pump simply isn't switching on. Here's how to perform the Japanese ankle pump correctly. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Lift your toes toward your shins while keeping your heels firmly down. Feel the stretch in your calf muscles. Then press your toes into the ground and lift your heels, like you're gently stepping on a gas pedal. That's 1 repetition. Move slowly and with control. Complete 20 to 30 repetitions, 2 to 3 times per day. The Japanese often do this while watching their favorite programs, reading, or after meals. The key isn't intensity, it's consistency. This is the Japanese way. Small movements done regularly create profound changes over time. This simple movement is your foundation. It wakes up the calf pump and begins restoring proper blood flow. But to build real momentum and protect your strength as you age, we need to move higher up the chain. This next movement might look too basic to take seriously. You're just lifting one leg while sitting in a chair. How could that possibly help with circulation? For many older adults, this exercise feels too elementary to be effective. It's often brushed off as beginner level or not real exercise. But here's what nobody tells you. This simple motion activates the exact muscle groups that walking often misses, especially after age 60. Your quadriceps and hip flexors do much more than help you move. They compress the major veins in your upper legs, helping push blood back toward the heart, working in coordination with your calf muscles below. When these muscles weaken, they can't efficiently assist with blood return. But here's the real problem. Walking doesn't train them well enough. Why? Because as we age, we naturally tend to take shorter, softer steps. This means the thighs and hips never contract fully during normal walking. So blood pools, stiffness builds, and everyday movements like climbing stairs or standing up from a chair become increasingly difficult. In Japan, this type of seated strengthening exercise is incorporated into radio taiso and is practiced in nursing homes, community centers, and living rooms across the country. Research on older adults who perform regular leg strengthening exercises has shown significant improvements in walking speed, stair climbing ability, and reduced fatigue during daily tasks. The Japanese understand that you're not just exercising your muscles. You're retraining your entire lower body to support both movement and blood flow simultaneously. Letting these muscles weaken leads to a predictable cascade: trouble getting up from chairs, slower walking speed, higher fall risk, and progressive loss of independence. When walking becomes exhausting, movement decreases, which makes circulation even worse. That's the vicious cycle we're breaking. Here's how to perform seated leg lifts the Japanese way. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with your back firmly against the seat. Keep both feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift one leg straight in front of you, keeping your knee as straight as comfortable. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower with control. Repeat 10 to 15 repetitions on each leg. Important tip: keep your back against the chair. Don't lean forward. This forces your thighs and core to do the real work. As you get stronger, you can add light ankle weights or a resistance band. Even 1 or 2 pounds makes a meaningful difference. Your muscles don't care how old you are. They respond to challenge at any age. And stronger thighs don't just improve circulation. They stabilize your entire body. Next up, an exercise that combines blood flow, strength, and balance all in one beautiful movement. This is where Japanese wisdom really shines. In Japanese, tsumasaki means tiptoes, and aruki means walking. This exercise combines the traditional heel raise with controlled movement and breath awareness, creating what I call the circulation and balance synchronizer. You might be thinking, isn't walking enough? I'm already moving. That should be helping, right? That's what we've been told for decades. But here's the hidden truth the Japanese discovered long ago. Walking alone doesn't train your calves to respond in real-life moments of instability, like stumbles or slips on uneven surfaces. Most older adults walk at a pace that's gentle, sometimes too gentle to trigger meaningful circulation benefits or challenge their balance system. This next movement changes that without requiring long distances or high impact. Remember, your calves are mechanical pumps. Every time they contract, especially when you push off the ground, they squeeze the deep veins in your legs and propel blood upward against gravity. But just walking isn't enough because most people don't pause at the top of the motion where the contraction is strongest. By adding a slow, controlled heel raise with a brief pause at the top, as the Japanese do in radio taiso, you train your calves and your nervous system to fire together. This is exactly what your body needs to catch itself during a fall or stumble. This is where circulation and fall prevention overlap beautifully. Health research has identified calf strength as one of the strongest predictors of independence in older adults. Seniors with stronger calves have fewer falls, better balance scores, and are significantly less likely to need assisted living. It's not just about walking more. It's about walking smarter with purpose and control. When your calves weaken, blood pools, swelling increases, oxygen delivery drops, and reaction time slows. That's when a misstep becomes a fall, and a fall becomes a major turning point in your independence. You don't need to fear falling, but you do need to train for the moment it might happen. Here's how to perform the Japanese calf pump walk correctly. Stand behind a sturdy chair or countertop and lightly hold on for balance. Rise slowly onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as comfortable. Now here's the crucial part. Pause at the top for 2 to 3 seconds. Look straight ahead, not down at your feet. Then lower slowly over 3 seconds. Start with 10 repetitions and gradually work up to 20 or 25. The key is the tempo. Don't rush it. That pause at the top trains your calves and balance system together, just as the Japanese have practiced for generations. This movement rebuilds ankle stability, strengthens the calf pump, and retrains your nervous system, all in one simple, elegant sequence. Let's keep climbing. Next, a movement so powerful for fall prevention that some Japanese physicians consider it a vital sign of healthy aging. Kata ashidachi in Japanese means single leg stance. It might sound like a simple balance drill, something your physical therapist might throw in at the end of a session. But here's what the Japanese have known for centuries, and what Western science is only now confirming. This one movement is one of the strongest predictors of future falls, mobility, and even lifespan after age 60. Yes, lifespan. And yet, hardly anyone in the West practices it regularly because it looks too basic, too easy, too much like not real exercise. Let's change that right now. When you stand on one leg, your ankle, calf, hip, and core muscles must all activate together to keep you upright. But more importantly, they must stay activated, not just fire once. This creates sustained contraction, which keeps your calf pump engaged much longer than during normal walking. And that means more blood flow, more oxygen delivery, and a more responsive nervous system. Plus, your brain is constantly making micro-adjustments to keep you steady. This trains what scientists call proprioception, your body's internal GPS system. That's something walking simply cannot replicate because you're never on one leg long enough. Research on aging populations has shown that adults who cannot hold a single leg stance for 10 seconds are significantly more likely to fall in the following year, more likely to suffer serious mobility loss, and have higher overall mortality risk over the next several years. Why? Because balance decline is often the first symptom of nervous system aging. It shows up before people notice weakness or pain. It's a silent warning sign. In Japan, balance exercises are woven into everyday life. From radio taiso movements to martial arts traditions to simple practices taught in community centers, the Japanese understand that balance is the foundation of independence. When balance goes, here's what typically follows. Movement becomes cautious and fearful. Circulation slows down because you're moving less. Confidence drops. Activity levels shrink. Muscles weaken from disuse. And the risk of a single devastating fall skyrockets. It's a silent spiral, and once it starts, it's incredibly difficult to reverse. But with just 60 seconds a day, you can interrupt that spiral before it begins. Here's how to perform the Japanese single leg balance safely. Stand next to a sturdy chair, wall, or countertop. Lightly rest one hand on it for balance support. Shift your weight onto one leg and lift the other foot just an inch or two off the floor. You don't need to lift it high. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing normally throughout. Repeat 2 rounds on each leg. As you improve over the coming weeks, reduce your hand support. Eventually, you'll hover your hand just above the surface, using it only if needed. This progressive challenge is the Japanese approach, gentle but persistent improvement. You're not just training your balance, you're retraining your entire nervous system, and that changes everything about how you move through the world. Ready for the final movement? It's the one that vascular specialists and rehabilitation experts around the world trust most, and it might be the single most effective circulation exercise you can do after 60. The Japanese have been practicing it every morning for nearly 100 years. Kakado age means heel raise in Japanese. Just rise on your toes and hold. It sounds too easy, right? It looks like nothing special. You're just lifting your heels off the ground and holding the position for a few seconds. That can't possibly transform your circulation, right? That's what most people assume, until they understand what's happening inside their legs during this movement. Because this one exercise is the #1 most prescribed movement in vascular rehabilitation protocols after leg surgery worldwide. And it's been a cornerstone of Japanese morning exercise routines since 1928, when Radio Taiso was first broadcast across the nation. Why is it so powerful? Because it doesn't just help circulation, it actively drives it. Your calves aren't just muscles, they're hydraulic pumps. When you rise onto the balls of your feet and hold that position, your calf muscles squeeze the deep veins in your lower legs and create pressure that pushes blood upward toward your heart, working directly against gravity. That hold is critical. It's what keeps the pump engaged long enough to overcome the effects of gravity, weakened veins, and slow blood return, problems that become increasingly common after age 60. And here's what walking simply cannot do. It can't hold the pump in the contracted position long enough to create this powerful pumping effect. Research on older adults who perform standing calf pump holds regularly has shown remarkable results. Significant reduction in ankle swelling, improvement in walking endurance, and meaningful boosts in balance confidence. These results consistently outperform casual walking and traditional leg stretches without adding joint stress or requiring any equipment. This is why vascular surgeons, physical therapists, and rehabilitation teams around the world treat this as a cornerstone movement, and it's why millions of Japanese people start their day with this exact exercise as part of Radio Taiso. When your calves stop pumping efficiently, a predictable cascade begins. Blood pools in your feet. Oxygen delivery slows to a crawl. Swelling and fatigue increase. Veins stretch and weaken over time. And your risk of slow-healing wounds and dangerous balance loss climbs steadily higher. Over time, these small issues compound, and one misstep can become a hospital visit that changes everything. You don't need that outcome. And you don't need fancy workout routines to prevent it. Here's how to perform the Japanese standing calf pump hold correctly. Stand behind a chair or countertop and lightly hold on for balance. Place your feet hip-width apart. Slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as comfortable. Now hold at the top for 3 to 5 seconds, breathing normally throughout. Don't hold your breath, then lower slowly over 3 seconds. Start with 8 to 10 repetitions and build up to 15 to 20 as your strength improves. Always prioritize control over speed. The magic is in the hold. That's when your second heart is pumping at full strength, doing the work that walking alone simply cannot accomplish. Unlike step counting goals or fast walking requirements, this move directly targets the system that keeps your legs alive, warm, and working properly. And the best part? It's low impact, completely joint-friendly, can be done at home in any room, and it works at any age. This is Japanese wisdom at its finest. Now that you've learned these 5 movements, let me share something remarkable about where they come from. In 1928, Japan introduced a national exercise program called Radio Taiso. It was broadcast on the radio every morning so that everyone, regardless of where they lived, could exercise together as a nation. Nearly 100 years later, Radio Taiso is still broadcast daily at 6:30 a.m. on NHK Radio, Japan's national broadcasting network. Studies have shown that approximately 97% of Japanese people recognize Radio Taiso, and an estimated 27 million people still practice it at least twice per week. That's 1 in 5 Japanese adults, maintaining a daily exercise habit that's been refined over nearly a century. But here's what makes Radio Taiso truly special for older adults. Research from the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology has studied Radio Taiso's effects on older adults with frailty. Their randomized controlled trials found that participants who practiced Radio Taiso daily showed improvements in agility and dynamic balance, aerobic endurance through step-in-place testing, and exercise self-efficacy, which is your confidence in your ability to exercise. The program had a remarkable 94% adherence rate among participants. Why? Because it's designed to be accessible, enjoyable, and woven into daily life. Additional research published in Japanese medical journals found that practicing Taiso exercises was associated with reduced risk of dementia in older adults. The Radio Taiso group showed an 18% lower hazard ratio for dementia compared to those who didn't practice. When researchers visited Okinawa, the region of Japan famous for having one of the highest concentrations of centenarians in the world, they found that nearly everyone they interviewed practiced some form of Radio Taiso. Even residents of nursing homes dedicated at least 5 minutes every day to these exercises, some performing them from their wheelchairs. The program takes just 3 minutes in its basic form. It requires no equipment. It can be done anywhere, and it incorporates all the elements we've discussed: calf activation, leg strengthening, balance training, and rhythmic movement that promotes circulation. This is what nearly 100 years of refinement looks like. Simple movements, done consistently, creating extraordinary results in the world's longest-lived population. You've just discovered the 5 movements that circulatory rehabilitation teams and Japanese longevity experts rely on around the world. But the real question is, will you use them? Let's be honest about what's at stake. Poor leg circulation isn't just an inconvenience. It's the beginning of a domino chain that can lead to outcomes no one wants to think about. Cold, swollen feet that never seem to warm up. Delayed wound healing that turns minor cuts into major concerns. Pain that limits your activity and shrinks your world. Balance loss that makes every step uncertain. Falls that lead to surgeries. And eventually, a life that feels smaller, less free, less yours. But this video isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you, to remind you that your body still responds to movement even now, even after 60, 70, or 80. Small exercises done consistently can trigger major changes. The Japanese have proven this for nearly 100 years. You don't need to become an athlete. You don't need expensive equipment or perfect form. You just need to know which movements actually work with your biology after 60, not against it. Because here's the truth that Japan's centenarians understand. Most decline isn't caused by aging itself. It's caused by underuse, by sitting when you could be moving, by assuming that your best days are behind you, by believing that small movements don't matter. They do matter. Every ankle pump matters. Every leg lift matters. Every calf raise matters. Every second you spend standing on one leg matters. And now you have the tools to fight back. Gently, wisely, consistently, the Japanese way. Your legs are not done. Your circulation is not fixed in stone. It's never too late to teach your muscles how to pump again. You've just learned 5 science-backed movements that do what walking alone cannot. They wake up your second heart. They restore blood flow. They protect your balance, the foundation of your freedom and independence. But this isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something purposefully. Because the truth is, you can still grow stronger. You can still improve your circulation. You can still take back control, one repetition at a time. Start small. Stay consistent. Even one of these movements done daily could mean warmer feet tonight, steadier steps tomorrow, and a better decade ahead. You don't need to move like you're 25. Just move like someone who wants to walk strong at 80, at 90, at 100. Like the centenarians of Japan, who understand that movement is medicine, consistency is power, and your second heart is always ready to pump again if you simply ask it to. Your future self will thank you for starting today. If this video gave you clarity, strength, or even just one moment of, "I didn't know that," then pass that value forward. Subscribe for more science-based, Japanese-inspired wellness wisdom designed specifically for adults over 60. Tell us in the comments, which of the 5 movements surprised you most? What's one you're going to try this week? Share this video with someone who's been told, "Just walk more" to improve their circulation. They deserve the full picture. They deserve to know what Japan's longest-lived people have understood for generations. And remember, we read every single comment. We create this content for real people facing real challenges, not for algorithms. Together, we're building a community of strong, smart, and independent adults, one gentle repetition at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for investing in your health. And thank you for believing that your best days don't have to be behind you. See you in the next video.